Let's start off with the market action we've seen in the last couple of days. S&P down for 4 days in a row. We also got some somewhat hawkish minutes. What's your take on the market right now and the sentiment in the market at this moment?
Yeah, I think, from my standpoint, my clients are always looking at three things. They say, hey, how are they feeling about the economy? How are they feeling about, valuation? Is the market up or down? And then finally, they're always impacted by what's going on politically. And I think, frankly, that third leg, politics is making some investors uneasy. I don't necessarily see things the same way. When I think about, hey, what's the Fed going to do in the back half of the year? I do expect a rate cut here in the third quarter, if not certainly the fourth quarter. And I think that could help balance things out as we go into the end of the year.
All right, so your word of the day today is composure. Who needs some composure? Is it investors? If you're holding some of these mega cap tech stocks that have really led the market higher but are pulled back in recent days, do you need to keep your composure and hold on and not sell? I mean, give us a sense. Who needs the composure?
I think in general, investors need to maintain their composure. I wouldn't say it's necessarily, the mega cap stockholders. I think there has been some concentration there, but overall in the market, I think the sentiment, certainly by retail investors, has been somewhat weak. And I think maintaining the composure in all investors in times, we had a good earnings season overall. I think maintaining the composure, in April, I would say people didn't keep their composure, and look what's happened over the last quarter.
All right, I want to get to one of your picks. A very interesting pick today as we're talking about nearshoring when it comes to the pharmaceutical sector and the building of plants here in the U.S. Your pick for us today is Vulcan Materials, a company that you would imagine would benefit from any type of nearshoring and building of production facilities here in the U.S. Why is it a good buy right now, though?
It's a good buy now because I think there is going to continue to be a build out of infrastructure. It's a very localized business. And so when you think about inflation, they do a very good job of managing pricing. And so even if you have some cost inflation, remember their biggest cost input is the rock that they hold in the ground. And so the fact that they can manage pricing and costs, that helps their consistent unit margin growth. And so I think it's a very good hedge against inflation. I think they'll continue to grow, and they can manage pricing very, very well in this environment.
All right, so you said it's a good hedge against inflation, but I want to talk to you about valuation, something that's been a big concern for investors this year. This is a stock that trades at about 31 times forward earnings. Isn't that a bit expensive for a materials company?
Well, look, I think these types of companies can get bid up because of the inflationary nature of the business. But overall, I mean, look at the overall market. I mean, I think the S&P is at roughly 22 times, but they've continued to compound unit growth and margins consistently for the last 10 years. So I've been very pleased with management. And it's an oligopoly, right? And so I think oligopolies tend to benefit from some of the valuation, premiums that are inherent in the business.
All right, Patrick, even with all this composure that you think people need to get, what about seasonality? Over the last 10 years, the S&P, it's pulled back on average about 2%. Even with your composure, how do you brace for what could be a potential, decline when it comes in September? And of course, Jay Powell's speech tomorrow could also have a big market impact.
Yeah, look, I think you have to allocate appropriately. I mean, I don't have 100% of every single dollar in the market right now. I think you have to have a balanced allocation. I think you have to be prepared with clients. I think you have to understand their risk aversion. And I think the composure is if you have some dry powder on the sidelines and you do get that pullback, look for your best ideas. Okay. And if you can add to those best ideas in a pullback, I think that's a very good measure for any investor in an appropriate time to take advantage of it and put some money to work.